Nation, welcome back to the Burn Boot Camp podcast. I'm Jennifer Paynter. This is Luke Smith. We are fitness specialists at Burn Boot Camp, but first and foremost, we are trainers at Burn Boot Camp. This is our fourth episode centering around protein, but we did want to address also in this one intermittent fasting because it's something that we hear a lot of in the gym, and a lot of our members are skipping breakfast, and when we ask them why, this is usually the reason we get. So we wanted to go ahead and dive into this today, the do's, the do nots, and would we recommend it, all right? So Luke, break down what is intermittent fasting?
So intermittent fasting just as a whole is just a restricted eating window. So you guys are very familiar. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this, but people are limiting or shortening the window in which they're consuming calories. So a lot of people will only eat within 4, 6, or 8 hour windows. So that means people are fasting for a minimum of 16 hours at a time. And that just means they're not consuming any calories. And the hope within this, if they're shortening the time in which they can eat, this would may be a good option for overeaters, but they're just trying to make sure they're not consuming more calories than they have to.
So I want to make it really clear that intermittent fasting is a tool to control or reduce calories. So a lot of people see a lot of success because maybe they're overeating, and maybe the things they were overeating that are high calories they're cutting out. Maybe it was pastries or something in the morning that they were going to. Okay, so you might see some success early on. Now, for people who are coming to Burn Boot Camp, doing the workouts in high intensity, how does intermittent fasting work, and how it may support or not support what we do at Burn?
Right. So I think with intermittent fasting, I think one, it needs to be applicable, and it should be, I don't suggest doing anything that you can't do long term. So I don't want you guys to think about you guys are on a diet. I want you guys to think about it as something as a lifestyle. If this isn't something that you want to do for the rest of your life, I wouldn't recommend it. Just start teaching yourself smaller habits, and maybe it really is sub this for that. I think it can be conducive. I know I used to have a lot of members that wanted to do intermittent fasting, and since this is a series on protein, I really kind of want to tie this back to protein. If you are in a deficit, so that means your desired outcome is weight loss, and you need 1,700 calories a day to lose weight, you still have to consume those 1,700 calories a day in that eating window. And I think that is the biggest thing that is missed. It's like, well, I'm just going to shorten the window that I eat in, and I'm going to eat a lot less, but they're not eating as much as they should be to lose weight and stay healthy. They're not eating enough to stay healthy. I think that's really big. Your caloric needs do not change just because you're shortening your window. Just because you're only eating in 4 hours doesn't mean you can just magically only need 1,000 calories. If you need to lose weight on 1,700, you have to eat it in that small window. I think that's the biggest piece that people are missing, is they're dropping their caloric needs. Now they're drastically under eating. And now what happens is there's no such thing as turning your body into starvation mode, but they're not utilizing the calories that you're consuming properly.
I do think when a lot of people come in and they inform me that they're doing intermittent fasting, I ask them why, and a lot of them can't answer that question. So I believe there is a myth around it that is a magical fat burning tool or something like that. But in reality, your body needs a certain amount of energy, of fuel to perform the daily tasks, and then Burn Boot Camp on top of that, or whatever workout-based regimen you're in. If you're shortening that window, that means you have to get the same amount of food in that window. How difficult would that be? If you're already struggling to hit your protein needs, and you're already struggling to maybe get 3 meals a day, now you're just taking that opportunity to get that fuel into your body, and now we're putting it in a much smaller window. So if you're not a big eater, now you have to fit more in a less amount of time. And for me, that would be very uncomfortable to try to get all those calories in. That'd add more stress to my life versus making things a little bit easier. You may see a little bit of weight loss in the beginning, okay? That might be just that change, or maybe you're losing a little bit of muscle, okay? So there might be change on the scale, but it may not be getting you where you want to go, and you can't keep extending that window and hoping for results, and I think that is a myth too.
Yeah, and I think to really, really bring that, just double click on this, highlight that, is that a lot of the people, I know a lot of the members that I've had over time on Paynter, I'm sure you would agree, but they don't have a great basis for eating, and they're not eating enough in one meal as is already anyway. We've spent the last 3 episodes talking about how important protein is, but they're not even eating enough calories anyway. So if you guys are looking to shorten that window, you're already under eating, and now I'm supposed to eat all my calories in 2 hours. That means you guys, if I need 1,700 calories, that means you guys are looking, I'm eating at one meal. Now I'm looking at 12 ounces of steak, probably 12 ounces of potatoes, and probably some kind of olive oil on the side or even avocado. And trust me, I love to eat, but I don't know that I'm sitting down and eating 12 ounces of sirloin, 12 ounces of sweet potatoes. I mean, that doesn't even fit on one plate. So now you're going to have more dishes
That's
from
not
one meal
comfortable.
that you don't have to have. So you're going to be uncomfortable. And it's really about trying to be as optimal as possible. So if I can spread out those feedings, make it a little bit easier on my digestion, a little bit easier on my gut, why would I want to condense that? And guys, I like to eat. Why would I only want to eat one time?
And also, here's the thing, if you're getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, hopefully we all are, not all of us, but hopefully we are, your body's already fasting. You're already in a period where you're not putting stuff in your body and you're digesting it and your body is at rest. So you don't need to extend it out. That is already built into human nature. You already have a period where you're time out on the food and input into your body. So if you're getting 7 to 8 hours, hey, you can check that box where your body has relaxed and gave it some time to digest. So also I want to touch back, if you're getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is already resetting. It's already digesting that food, okay? So you don't maybe need to extend that window out. Now, if you're someone who tends to overeat at night, maybe intermittent fasting may or may not be where you set a cutoff time for you. But before you do that, I want to circle back to some things we've covered in other episodes is what are we eating for dinner? What are we eating up to that 8 p.m. where all of a sudden at 8:30 we are just scourging the pantry for treats and stuff. I would rather you take a look at what we're not fueling our body with before that leaves us so unsatisfied that we overeat in the PMs versus setting a hard another rule in our lives that we cannot eat after 8 p.m.
Yeah, and I think it's important, especially when you guys are talking about consuming meals and shortening your window. It's really making sure I'm not adding in a lot of fillers in the evening and eating things that are going to leave you satisfied. So if you guys are having some source of healthy fat's really going to be what slows down the breakdown of all the carbohydrates in your protein. So and guys, especially if you work out early in the morning, have that healthy fat source, omega-6s, omega-3s, have that, and I'll slow down the breakdown so you're not super, super hungry late at night, because I know it's a lot easier when I go in the pantry, you're watching a movie, you're ready for bed, you need a late night snack. But if I'm still full, I'm not going to have that problem. And if I work out early in the morning, I'm still going to have some energy. One thing that I used to talk to my members about, one of the guys that I love to read about the most, his name's Lane Norton. He has a PhD in nutritional sciences. And I used to have members say, well, Luke, do you recommend intermittent fasting? And one thing that I would always challenge my members to do is if you are looking to be the most optimal, if you're looking to get as much protein as possible, knowing that I still have protein goals regardless of if I'm fasting, try fasting from carbs and fats. Because we know that proteins, that's the hardest macronutrient to get in. That's the one we have to prep for, that we have to go out of our way for it. All the other stuff, that's gas station. I can go get Pop-Tarts and Reese's Pieces and Sour Patch Kids from the gas station, but try fasting from those so that way you can stay optimal throughout the day. We talked about muscle protein synthesis in episode 2, and if I'm looking to stay anabolic where I'm always in a growth phase or I'm not breaking down and losing my muscle, eat yogurt. There's 15 grams of protein in that. There's no carbs, no fats. Have a protein shake, an isolate, which is going to have no carbs and no fats. So now you're still restricting your calories, but I'm able now to get in the protein that I need throughout the day. And that's why I have a series on this. We know that people aren't getting enough. So if I can take away some of those things that I would tend to overeat on or want to indulge in, and I have my protein, now I'm optimal. And I can still get in the calories that I need throughout the entire day. And I think that's going to make your life a lot easier. And that was something that once I heard that, and I read the studies that go along with that, it is very complimentary to people that may overeat. But if you're looking to maintain muscle mass and continue to recover, you have to have that protein be the exact same every single day. And that was something that was consistently missed over time.
And I have a lot of people that come into my focus meetings and they've been intermittent fasting, which is a tool, and I'm proud of you for putting in the effort to doing something, but a lot of people are doing it and they're seeing no results and they're getting frustrated. So we're challenging you guys to maybe go back to our other episodes and pick up some tips and tricks on incorporating things that are going to help you get there, because if you're coming in the morning and you're killing yourself with a workout and all of a sudden your performance is going down, okay, we're not able to do as much in the gym, and then you're starving just to wait to the clock to turn over to a certain minute before you can put something in your body, but you're not doing as well in the gym, you've really got to weigh that out, because at the end of the day, if you're feeling your body and you can do more in the gym, in the long term, that's what's going to get the results. So those are some of the signs that maybe it's time to look at a different path. Anything else?
I agree. No, I think you got it.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We need you to subscribe for the next one. Have a great rest of your day. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.